Salutations and welcome to Tashana's Kitchen, where every day is a new day, and today is not your ordinary take on an old-time favorite of mine, Betty Crocker's homemade cheeseburger hamburger pie. So what you're going to need to get started is a pound of ground beef and a half a cup to a cup of fresh diced onions, as well. This is the variation change. I also like to add in bell peppers, so I'm going to be putting in a cup of diced bell peppers as well. I did not realize that I was out of onion, so what I've gone ahead and done is I got 2 tablespoons of my dehydrated onion that I had already put up for the year, and I mixed that with 1 teaspoon each of my dehydrated basil and marjoram. What else was in there? Onion, garlic, and oregano. And I put that in, as well as a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, some garlic powder, and onion powder. And I'm just going to add, I know that this was 4 tablespoons, so I put in half. So 2 tablespoons of that. And that is a little bit different than Betty Crocker, because Betty Crocker did not put in all of this extra spices. But because I have them on hand and I know that they're very nutritious, I'm going to add that. Now, once I get this cooked up, I will drain off the fat, and I will have my cheese grated, and I'll have 1 cup of the cheese. And then as soon as that is drained off, I'm planning to add in some carrots and some potatoes, both of which I canned myself this year, and I want to just add a little bit more substance to my hamburger pie. So I'm planning to put in about 1 cup of each into my mix in this pan when we get started. So now that I've emptied out my bell peppers, I will be making a mix that's going to go on the top. Once that is completely done, I will be adding the cheese, like I said, the shredded cheese, and then I'm going to put in a half a cup of Bisquick, which is here, and a half cup of milk, which is here, mixing it up. Until all of the clumps are gone. And then I'm going to be adding in a little bit of some sour cream because I have leftover, and I'm not really wanting to use any eggs. So I'm just going to use the leftover here. And I have about a half a cup actually of sour cream. And that'll obviously pair nicely with the potatoes and the carrots. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let the sour cream sit into my mixture of half a cup of Bisquick, 1 cup of milk. I'm going to go ahead and get this shredded up for us. And then I will open the potatoes and the carrots and get them measured out. And as soon as my burger has finished becoming brown, I will get right back to you and show you how we're going. Alright, I have the beef ground up with bell peppers and seasonings. And the next thing I'm going to do is I turned down the stove down to 3, so it would be more of a simmer. And I'm going to add in some of those carrots. Alright, it'll be the whole jar for the cup. Just wanted to double make sure. Now I'm just going to gently stir them. Now I've canned different kinds. I have the diced kind, I have the sliced kind, and then I have a kind that looks like you have in a stew, which is what I went with this because I thought it was a pie. It reminded me of like a hamburger pie stew-ish kind of thing. So next we're going to go ahead and get some potatoes in there. Save my potato water over here. Didn't want it to drop into the pan, of course. Alright, so let's goodness sakes. Did my let's try that again. A little extra dropped out each time, so we're going to call that more like a 1.5. And again, I'm just kind of mixing up my potatoes a little bit. They're going to get warm in the oven as well. I did start to preheat my oven at 400. I'm waiting for it to preheat. And while it's doing that, that's when I decided that I wanted to just go ahead and get a par heat, or just get started heat here on my potatoes and my carrots, and kind of get it mixed up with my ground beef and any of that little extra fat that's left from the ground beef. I wanted to go onto the potatoes and the carrots. Yes, I did drain them off, but as they cool, it would, anything that was left would have started to coagulate. So I do have about this many potatoes left, and obviously with a bigger jar than my carrot jar. And I know that because these are larger, that it takes more to actually make a meal. However, I'm going to go with that probably for tonight. And then the rest of those potatoes are going to go into the fridge, and then with my lid, and then tomorrow morning I will pat them dry, and I'm going to have some hash browns. So, alright, I am going to go ahead and finish getting this ready to go. Waiting for that to preheat, and once it's preheated, we will go ahead and finish up our next spot. But I am going to keep this going on a 3, just to again start to par warm my vegetables, as well as let my burger stay warm and not coagulate the fat. Okay, we are preheated. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stove, and we're going to go ahead and start assembling our cheeseburger hamburger pie. So I have here my bottom pan that I'm planning to use, and I'm going to simply just kind of layer this in, because I know that the potatoes and the carrots don't quite weigh the same. I want to make sure that I have potatoes on the entire area, so I'm going to just go ahead and kind of get them spread in along with my carrots and my burger. Alright, looking good. It smells really good. All those seasonings that I added in there. My own seasonings. They're always better when they're your own seasonings, it seems. They're fresher tasting. Alright, I can go ahead and just get the rest of that burger and carrots and peppers in there. Alright, now I'm going to real gently kind of move it around, still separating out my potatoes a little bit more, and my carrots. Okay, that looks really nice. So now I'm just kind of, I'm not pushing or squishing it to break anything. I'm just kind of helping the burger situate itself and making sure that all my carrots aren't together or packed on top of potatoes on top of potatoes, etc. So I just want to make sure the entire layer is bottom of my layer, is covered with my burger and my veggie mixture. Alright, so now that I have filled in all the cracks, set that down for a second. Now, here's my 1 cup of my medium shredded cheese. And I'm just going to kind of do it a little bit up higher, because if you get too close, what happens is it kind of goes in one area. You can kind of gauge. Start up in the middle a little bit higher. You can bring yourself down to where you need it if it feels like you're too high up. But of course, you don't want to get it outside of your dish either. I'm just trying to layer my cheese into where my burger and potato carrot layer is. Okay. Now that I've made sure I have just a little bit on all of the areas, set that down. All right, now I'm going to go back to, again, this was a 1/2 cup of Bisquick, 1/2 cup of sour cream, and 1 cup of milk. And I mixed up first without the sour cream, just the milk and my Bisquick to get most of the lumps out. And then I added in my room temperature sour cream so that it would kind of come apart. Not really come apart, but no. Alright, so now since I have a pour spout, I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to just kind of go around and drizzle on my way out. Oh, that is pretty looking. Alright, now I can use my spatula real quick and get any of the final yummy goodness out of there, out of my bowl, and into my casserole dish. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is get out a little bit of smoked paprika, the one thing I actually do not have myself. And from high above, just add a tiny bit. Smoked paprika does wonders to a cheese sour cream mix. And just a tiny bit of color contrast too. Alright, that's great. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get that in the oven. Again, preheated 400 degrees. Put it in for 25 to 30 minutes. You can always add time, but you can't take it off. So we're going to start with the 25 minutes. And I'll see what that looks like and get back to you and let you take a peek when it gets out. Okay, I just turned off the timer, and we're going to go ahead and pull out our beautiful, not Betty Crocker's, cheeseburger pie. Ooh, that baby's hot. I think I'm going to put that back onto here. I think you can see that just fine. It is really hot. It is barely just pulled back from the edge. It's got a nice bubble on the top. You can see where it is crusted with the cheese. And, of course, we have our beautiful little, like the Bisquick mixture looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the oven. We'll call that good. I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes and let that sit. And then my husband and I are going to enjoy dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a homemade cheeseburger pie. And let me know in the comments below if you tried it, if you like it, if you have any variations, or if you remember that when you were a kid. Have a great day. Just kidding. I can't leave it like that. I gotta let you see what this looks like. Alright. So I'm just gonna use my spoon here. Break right on in there. Oh, yeah. Whew, it is so hot, let me tell you. But I'm gonna get a fork anyway. Alright, take a look at that. Oh my goodness. Alright. It looks so hot, I'm not sure where to take a bite. We get a little bit of potato, a little bit of carrot, cheese, and burger all in one. Oh yeah. And if you want, you can add any kind of sauce to this. Some people might want to add a little more sour cream to the top. I think I'm going to go with it as is. However, I do have some cowboy candy and some red pepper relish. Either one would go really good on this too, I bet. Mmm. Really hot, but super good. You can still taste all the spices individually in the burger, and the carrots and the potatoes, because they were already done with the canning. It was just fantastic. And the melted cheese is kind of crusty on top. And look at that. That sour cream and the Bisquick mixed together. Looks beautiful. All right, well, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner with my husband. You have a wonderful evening, and thank you once again.